Hey everybody, welcome to the KetoMom page. My name is Stephanie and we are wrapping up the month of June. I don't know how that happened. Time is going by way too fast, but as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? Good morning. We have been serving. We're on the serving team. I don't know if you can see it. We've been serving at our church. Our church is having a conference, and so there has been, 65 or 75 pastors in. So we have been at the church Thursday, Friday. I don't even know how long. What is today? Oh my goodness. Lost track of my days. We've been there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So the conference is done today. My family is there. I missed my lives yesterday, but I thought, okay, I'll do a live, then I'll go serve. So that is where we have been for the last 3 days. It has been fun. It's fun to watch our girls serve and learn and leadership and grow and serve and serve. That's what they have been doing. So June is done. Well, almost done. And we're done with this book. I was going to tell you the last 2 chapters of what it talked about, but we are going to dive into a new book starting tomorrow. We're going to talk about the power of one more. So if you're brand new here, this page has been here for 7 years. There is 7 years of content, different recipes and things that you can go look and watch and learn from. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com. Tons of recipes and information to help you on your journey. Every morning, not every morning, but as often as we can. Sometimes life happens and we leave the house super early, but we do a morning mindset where we go through a book to help you understand the power of your mindset. Otherwise, most of the time in the afternoons, I come on and we talk about different things like net carbs and total carbs and different recipes and your favorite sugar replacement. And so afternoons have those lives, morning has your mindset live, and as always, you can send me a message and ask any questions. And so as we're wrapping up this book, we have gone through books for over a year. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com, click on book club. This was just the book that we did for June. And this book was all about the pursuit of better in your life. The last 2 chapters is about not making excuses. So oftentimes on here, we'll talk about, sometimes I'll hear people say, I wasn't raised the right way. I wasn't taught to eat healthy. I didn't do that when I was younger. It's harder for me as I'm getting older. And so basically one of the last chapters talks about not making excuses, but just owning where you're at today, having an awareness and a realization and going, all right, no more excuses. I'm going to go after what I want. And so I love this book. It's an incredible book. If you can find it, which it's hard to find, you should grab it. It's an easy read. 31 chapters for a month to give you some insight on pursuing better in any area of your life. And then the last chapter is he just talks about the power of his faith in his life and how important that is, and it should come before anything else. And so this was the book that we went through. Here's the brand new book we're going to be going through starting tomorrow. I was going to give you a little insight on this. Has anybody read this book yet? If you want to grab it and go through it together with us, awesome. If you want, you can just tune in the mornings and we talk about lots of different things, lots and lots. Like I have an amazing friend who I was talking to yesterday at CrossFit, and she said, hey, I implemented something that you taught me. And I was like, what did you do? And so she has been working on something called, basically, we have a lot of parenting conversations. And she said, I learned, so this is kind of different. Here's what I want you to understand. I think when you go after fat loss, let me ask you really quick. So good morning, Danielle. Let me ask you, why are you here? I would love to know, like today, right now, not the goals you set in January, just like if you were to say, here are my goals for the rest of the year. We've got half our year left. What are your goals? What are you looking for? I'd love for you to share below. What do you need? So something that we're passionate about is, of course, helping people get healthy. But we like to say our family wants to help people live healthy, faith-filled lives. And understanding that when somebody's on a health journey, while that might be their main focus in the beginning, it's not the only thing that needs to be focused on, because usually there might be other things broken in their lives. Broken could simply mean like a relationship that needs to be fixed, finances that are causing stressors for you to eat, right? There's different areas of your life, physical, spiritual, emotional, relationships, financial. And if one of those is broken, or if there's a stressor in any area of your life, it's going to affect the way that you eat or don't eat or skip a workout or sleep too much or make excuses, right? Other areas of your life affect really your health. Oftentimes people will say, well, I've gained all this weight because I emotionally ate for years because of the way I was treated, or lots of different circumstances. So anyways, there was a fun report. One of my friends said, hey, you taught me about something your pastor taught you about relationships and parenting. So it's so fun to hear praises. She leveled up her EQ. If you've never been taught what EQ is, you have an IQ, right? You guys all know what IQ means. How smart. If they were to like give you a test, you test your IQ, you get a number. We also have an EQ and an AQ. Some people have other acronyms, but like EQ stands for emotional quotient, how well you handle your emotions, which could result in eating, and how well you handle adaptability. A stands for adaptability. So something that we've learned over the course of 7 years is sometimes I'll say, oh, you need to get your EQ in check. If my husband or my kids or myself is going to do something. So anyways, I'm sharing all of this because it's a great awareness of there's so many things happening in your life that can affect and will affect either excuses, the way you eat, the lack of motivation, all of those things, right? So my friend said, hey, I did something. I leveled up my EQ. I learned not to react to my child when he's throwing a fit. And I didn't yell. I didn't lose my temper. I handled it with, I'm not going to be offended what he's saying. I'm just going to simply tell him to do an action, and then we'll talk about it when all of us cool down. She had a higher EQ. Her EQ maybe was at like a 2, and I was like, man, your EQ leveled up to like a 6 or a 7. Like you had awareness, you didn't react, and you handled the situation incredible. She was so empowered. She felt great. And I was like, man, I'm so proud of you. And the biggest thing I would tell you is this. This has nothing to do with the book. I'm just sharing a simple story because there's more that play a factor in your fat loss than you think. And you need to have an awareness of the different areas of your life, even how you react or respond to situations in life. I said, you can either, if you have a low EQ, you're either eating out of emotion, you are letting life happen to you, you're letting other people control circumstances, you're letting maybe the things your kids say to you cause emotional issues, right? There's so many things. Your EQ is your emotional quotient. How well do you handle situations? You're either going to react quickly, abrasively, with your words, with your actions, with food, with a drive-through, with an excuse, or you're going to take 2 seconds because you go, oh, this is where I can either choose to react or respond. I'm going to respond in the appropriate way based on my goals and how I know I should respond to situations, right? So if today is stressful, or maybe a child doesn't do something you want them to do, maybe you're not having a great day at work, whatever the case may be, you can choose to react out of anger, out of emotion, out of frustration, or you can go, to be expected. Listen, every time this happens, I go through a drive-through. Every time this happens, I make an excuse not to go to the gym because it's frustrating. Every time this happens, I'm choosing, but I'm going today choose to respond in an appropriate manner of having an awareness of, oh, I realize that every time this happens, I get triggered and I eat the donut. Or every time this happens, I get triggered and I react instead of just going, and my friend had to do this. She went like this. She's like, I didn't realize I could just not do anything or say anything. I could respond with an appropriate action, tell my child a directive, and then as we walked it out, nobody yelled. Well, he was yelling or screaming, but she's like, I did not yell or scream. I handled my emotions, and then everything when we got home was great. And so I don't know, somebody must have needed to hear that today, but your EQ is so powerful in even your health related goals. When things happen in life, are you going to react and get frustrated, throw a fit and overreact? Or are you going to respond, meaning to be expected. I actually don't have to say anything right now. I don't have to do anything right now. I can breathe. I can take a time out. I don't have to go through the drive-through. I don't have to go through the candy drawer. I'm not going to react. I'm going to respond as I collect my thoughts and go, what is the best response? That was something that happened yesterday, which I love that. I love when people have this light bulb moment of like, when I was taught that, it changed my life forever. Just the awareness and the vocabulary of EQ and AQ and being adaptable, or the fact that like all of those words, every time I was going to throw a fit or get frustrated or yell, I would hear myself go, collect your EQ, respond versus react. Isn't it incredible how when you have an awareness of something, you have an awareness and then it's up to you to use it? Like, oh, you have it. You have the knowledge. You were taught it. You were told it. You read it. You listened to it. Now it's up to you what you do with it, right? Here on the page, I'll say, listen, you can message me about anything. You can message me about life or parenting or marriage or keto or food or exercise. And I'm going to share with you, if I can, from an experience or what we've been through. And I love sharing all of these different things because it's not just about knowing the perfect way to eat. It's truly about you being able to handle situations in your life with a higher level of EQ and AQ and awareness and going, oh my goodness, I did this in the past, but I'm not going to anymore. If your goal is fat loss, my challenge to you is look at other things in your life that need to be tweaked, fixed, cared for, loved on, the awareness of, oh, I do this when, so I'm not going to do this anymore. There's more than just the food that you put in your mouth. Now, I would say all of you know how to lose weight. All of you know how to get fitter, right? You know, to eat less food, to drink more water, to move your body, to not go through the drive-through. You know the basics. It's just doing those basics, but I'm going to guess that you want more, right? We're always in a search of, but what if there's a secret? What if somebody else does it differently? And I'm going to tell you the difference is when somebody works on their personal development and they work on their mindset, they're going to go further. They're going to get further. They're going to stay where they're going. There's always going to be like a trip up or like a fail or a fall, and they get back up and they keep going because they work on this, which works on this. Super important. So I hope that was helpful in any way. This is the book that we're going to start tomorrow. And here's what he says about this book. I'm really excited. Oh, shoot. I lost the page I was going to read. Hey, how's your morning going? I would love to know how your morning's going. He says, oh no, this isn't the book that I highlighted. I wanted to read to you one thing that he talks about, one more, the power of one more. But maybe I won't because I don't. Oh, here it is. He says, you're a lot closer to changing your life than you think. You're one more meeting, one more relationship, one more decision, one more action, one more thought from leading the life that you deserve. The power of one more challenges you to become hyper-focused and addicted to searching that one more moment in your life. The more you begin to see them and then execute on them and take action, you will realize the more your life will change. It's the power of one more. One more rep. One more day without sugar. One more glass of water. One more I'm not going to make an excuse and I'm going to do it. One more smile to somebody. One more act of kindness. The power of one more. That's the book that we're going through. I'm super, super excited because I haven't read this whole book. It's brand new. We just got it this month. I think I'm on chapter 2 in the actual book that I'm highlighting, but we'll start tomorrow. We'll just work through the book. If you want to grab it, awesome. If you want to tune in here, awesome. Again, send me messages with any questions that you have. I think that's it. For those who have been asking about my Mom Fuel ketones, we have a fun 4th of July sale. So if you've never tried ketones, if you've never drank them, if you want to know more about the tool that I use that helped me go further faster, I'm drinking them right now, just post sale in the comments and we can chat. Otherwise, continue to tune in. You can check out my stories. I'll talk more about the sale. I hope you have a great day. And I will come on this afternoon and talk more of a keto, low carb action steps, simplicity of working on your actual lifestyle. I hate the word diet, but we'll talk more about that later. So I hope you have a great morning and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in a few hours.